I'm finally going to be doing some showcase on this guy in Point War and Beatbout as well. If you have him at R0, there's almost like no chance for you to use him in PvP, unfortunately, because you do need the start of turn buff and the start of turn debuff as well. That's going to be very important because without it, he just pretty much dies. The only sustain that he has is going to be from his Echo Scar damage. Whenever you proc it, it will heal him by 20% of the damage, right? And if you have him at R2, it will inflict the Echo Scar on all enemies at the start of the battle. This is going to be very important. Alright, let's showcase him in Point War first. From my previous video, I just said it's like cheating when you use this team, because I'm gonna use Yukine with him. When it comes to Yukine, you can put any unit in the game with this set and they can pretty much be reliable. But he's not just reliable in this team, he's actually pretty good. He does a lot of damage. His AoE damage is crazy. The build that I went for him is really weird. No crit rate, no crit damage, just a lot of attack and a HP as well. You do need a lot of HP because he does not have any cheat death mechanic. My Relic isn't the best, I just stack up attack on most of them. The perfect Relic for him, in my opinion, would be attack, flat attack, HP, flat HP. Something like that. You don't need any crit rate, any crit damage. And I also run HP, attack. In most cases, the team will just die from his damage. The only unit that does not die is going to be the unit that has the Chuya buff. And there's no way to crit through Chuya buff when you run this guy because you cannot run him with Everett, right? He's not a shimmer, so if you do run him with Everett, he's still not going to crit. So yeah, when it comes to this team, you do need to have him at R2 for him to work, because without the R2, he's not going to survive. You don't heal enough at the start of combat. There we go, 700,000. Again, his AoE damage is insane. And also when you run him with Yukine, with the snow set, he can get a lot of turns. And the thing with Sieg is you want him to get as many turns as possible, get counted as well. Because when you get counted with him, you add 2 stacks of the Echo Scar on the enemy. So against Momo, against Suizai, whenever he does his AoE and proc a pursuit with his S3, Momo is gonna counter, Suizai is gonna counter. They're gonna add 2 stacks of Echo Scar on their counter, right? So whenever they get the Echo Scar effect, you can do a lot of damage to them. As you can see, we almost one-shot Momo even without crits. So this is the reason why you don't want to build him with crit rate. It's kind of pointless to build him with crit rate. As you can see, the rest of the enemies that does not have any Chuya buff is still gonna die even when you don't have any crit rate on your Sieg. So the fight took not even that long and he did 700,000 damage. Again, keep in mind, mine is level 70 and R3. And also, by the way, when you run Yukine, she needs to be R2, and your team, the priority for the buff that Yukine gives, this buff right here, the Snow Cloak buff, is going to go from left to right priority. So if you want your Sakura to get the Snow Cloak buff as soon as possible, you put her on the leftmost spot. You can also do this, but when you do this, your team will not get the Dragon Breath effect when he casts his S2, which is not good, right? So you want to do this, run HP lead as well. You can also do this because it's very important for your Lian to get the Snow Cloak buff so that she can cycle her S3 as often as possible. And then you put your Yukine on the last slot because the priority to get her the Snow Cloak buff is the lowest priority. Let's go against Wu Yu teams. Sometimes against Wu Yu teams you can lose if they have a level 70 Nathaniel, because level 70 Nathaniel does not die from his debuff that easily, and when he gets to 50 stacks, he's just gonna one-shot your entire team. It does not matter whether you have damage mitigation or not from Sakura, or as much HP as possible. He's pretty much just gonna one-shot you. But that mostly happens with a level 70 Nathaniel. If it's a level 60 Nathaniel, you're pretty much gonna do fine. And also, if you have some troubles with Nathaniel, you can just also run a Zihi to reduce his defense even further. Because again, you cannot defense break Defender Espers when there's a Wu Yu, right? So instead of running the standard defense breaker that you have, you can just run a Zihi plus this guy, which will give you a lot of defense break. He can stack up to 30% with his debuff, and then Zihi, I think it can stack up to 50%. So that's almost no defense on the Nathaniel. Alright, let's see. The Nathaniel got 50 stacks, but I think he already did his nuke, right? I think he already did his nuke. Yeah, he didn't kill me off. Yeah, the defense break on this guy is going to be massive against Wu Yu teams as well. Because again, you cannot defense break Wu Yu teams because of her buff. He's really good against like Suizai teams. I haven't tried against this type of team. There's no level 70, so I think we should be fine. Yeah, we should be fine. Let's take a look at the damage. 400,000. Yukine is also a DPS. Even if he dies, it really does not matter for this team because you have Yukine for, you know, doing extra damage. But the chance of him dying in this team is very low, especially when you have him at R2, because the start of battle debuff is going to help him survive. Whenever the enemies take a turn, they're going to take damage and also heal him by 20% of the damage, right? And you have 2 stacks of that debuff. His R4 is also going to be a massive power boost because when you have him at R4, whenever the enemy takes damage from the Echo Scar effect, they will add 1 extra counter on themselves. So what that means is that you will have the Echo Scar damage, Echo Scar effect on all enemies at all times, because you will start off with two stacks, and then when they take a turn, they will take the Echo Scar damage, and then they'll add 1 more counter that is 2 turns. Alright, a level 70, like 3 level 70 Wuyu team. I think I'm gonna get clapped. Best case is probably just removing her and add in Zihi just to nullify the damage of Wuyu a little bit. Let's see if we win. Yep, we won. Not bad. So most of the time when you run a Yukine team without a Zihi, you're gonna lose against level 70. No, regardless of whether you run Zihi or not, you're gonna lose against a level 70 Suzai. Not Suzai, the Nathaniel, because he can just one-shot you. Level 70 Nathaniel is no joke, man. But when you run Sieg with a Zihi, that's a lot of defense reduction. I think Zihi is 50%. Yep, up to 50% whenever you attempt to petrify them, right? Which is a lot. So between Zihi and this guy's debuff, that's 80% defense reduction on a team that cannot be defense lowered, right? So that's gonna be massive. And also with Zihi in the team, it's reducing Wuyu's damage as well. So we're not gonna die from her counter attacks. The other type of team that you can run with this guy in Point War is just to run him in a go first team. But in those type of teams, he's not really gonna do much, because in those type of team, his damage is not that much. He's not gonna be the main show of the team, as opposed to like running him in the Yukine team, right? 800,000 damage in like 20 turns is pretty insane. Alright, let me try against a Moroyama. I'm gonna put in R2 Meta Yunchuan. My Meta Yunchuan is not built for a Yukine team, but I'm just gonna try it out. He's on the Harmony set, but I think we should be fine. No. Yeah, the Yukine team is still very weak against Moroyama teams. Alright, we found a Suizai team. This one should be easy because whenever Suizai counters me, he's gonna add 2 stacks on himself. And because I have a tanky Sieg at 50,000 HP, he's not gonna get one shot from Suizai's S3. And whenever Suizai counter attacks me, I'm just gonna heal up. Oh! No way, we lost! 500,000. I think that's just because of bad RNG. Let me just go one more time. If I lose again... Okay, no, this time we won. Yeah, that was the bad RNG. You can have like bad RNG sometimes when you run the Yukine team if you don't proc the snow set, because the whole team basically just relies on whether you can land the 35% on the snow set or not, right? If you don't land the snow set on your Aspers, then you're just gonna lose. You don't get enough turns, you don't get enough healing from your support. Your support can just get perma stun. And also when the enemy does an AoE attack and you proc all snow set, the unit that gets the snow cloak buff is going to be the unit on the leftmost spot. That's why I say you should position your unit from left to right based on the priority of whether they have the whether they get the snow cloak buff or not. Alright, let's try against an Iki team. We might be in some trouble because Yukine is not the best against a Iki team. This team takes a lot of turns. And okay, we still won. Not bad. 600,000. More turns that you take against an Iki, you're gonna take more damage, right? But it seems like Sieg kind of covers that point, because the more turns that Sieg takes, the more damage that Iki is gonna take as well. And when you kill off the Iki, it should be no problem to kill off Meta Era and Daji as well. Even though the Daji is level 70, she's not really doing any damage to me. My Yukine is only D2 and R3. I've been collecting her ripples from Club Shop. No, not Club Shop, the club feature, right? Her R4 is pretty good as well. You start off with the Hibernation, which is pretty good against some teams, but aside from her R4, it doesn't really change the unit that much once you get to R2. Yeah, at this point it should be no problem. Meta Era, even at 20 stacks of the Cadence, is not going to one-shot me because she ignores defense. The Meta Era is at level 69. The Iki cannot die because I don't have any buff strip from this team. It just takes a long time for him to take the turn on Iki to exhaust the invincibility buff, right? Ooh, Meta Era one-shot my Yukine though. But he didn't manage to one-shot my Sieg. Alright, let's try against a Ming Shuo team. But I'm gonna bring, instead of Sakura, I'm just gonna try to reduce his damage a little bit more with Meta Yunchuan, R2 Meta Yunchuan. And let's see if this one can work. I think I might not be able to tank it. Oh, we tanked it. Not bad. 400,000 damage on Sieg. And I'm also reducing his attack as well, right? On Sieg. Because at the start of combat, he gets 2 of the debuff. There we go. So his attack is lowered by 6%. And it's also just enough for me to tank the hits on Ming Shuo. Sieg just does a lot of AoE damage that he just pretty much kills the team off with 1 attack when he casts his S2. Alright, let's go against a standard Momo and R6 Daji team. But there's no level 70, so we should not have any problem. Okay, this time it's again level 60 Suizai, so we should not have any problem as well. It is a level 70 Daji though. Yeah, I still win. 1 million damage on Sieg. That's pretty crazy. Alright, I'm gonna show you this run and then I'm just gonna blitz the rest of my ticket. Again, you mostly just want to fight against non-Moroyama teams because Moroyama can still one-shot Yukine team like no problem. Unless you have like a full level 70 Yukine team, right? Because like Moroyama, even with a R2 Meta Yunchuan in your team, he can still one-shot through them. Boom. There we go. His AoE does a lot of damage and he's also very good against Suizai as well. When you get counter-attacked by Suizai, he's just gonna add 2 stacks to himself. So yeah, Suizai is not really gonna be a problem for him. As you can see right here, he already has 4 stacks. And again, if you have him at R4, this is going to be way easier for you to stack up his debuff. Alright, let's just blitz the rest of my ticket. And I'm gonna try to avoid Moroyama teams as much as possible. Okay, we have a Sieg team. Let's see if this does well. Not bad. I also want to try to fight some other Yukine teams because I think he's going to be very good against those type of team. His AoE is a lot of damage. And also, Yukine teams take a lot of turns, right? And when you take a lot of turns, you take a lot of damage from his debuff as well. So, yeah, 14 tickets left. I'm just going to blitz through all of this real quick. And then we'll get into Beatbout. Ooh, level 70 Meta Era and we still won. R6 as well. Meta Era did 500,000 and he did 340,000. But he does not have any healers though. Alright, we randomly lost against a Momo team. Again, if you can't get the right RNG, which is pretty low to get like really bad RNG with this team. Because the snow set has a really high proc chance. But it can happen, then you're just gonna lose, right? Okay, double level 70. Level 70 Daji and Momo, and we lost. I'm gonna go one more time against this guy. I think that was just bad RNG. Because usually we can win. Ooh, okay, we lost again. One more time against this guy. Ooh, okay. Alright, we lost for the 3rd time. I'm gonna take a look at this match real quick. I think it's just because we got one shot by Momo. And also Daji managed to land her debuffs as well, right? Because it doesn't matter if you get a lot of turns. If you have Daji's debuff, you're just gonna get taunted by her. So you cannot heal up. As you can see right here, my Sakura couldn't S3. My Lian does not have the S3 as well. So I pretty much just end up dying. Alright, last 2 tickets. Also a level 70 Momo and Daji. And we lost again. Okay. Alright, let me try to remove him. And that is Sloan. I also have Sloan built with the HP and attack set with no crit rate as well. Let's see if Sloan does any better against this team. And Sloan does win. Because Sloan has a lot of AoE damage as well. And she can apply the, look at it, 800,000. But again, Sloan can work against most teams. But against Suizai, she kind of struggles a little bit. And that's where you would run Sieg instead of her, right? I forgot to show you the rest of the relics for the team. So it's pretty much standard for the support. You just want them to have a lot of HP. And some defense as well. For Sakura, you do want to have a little bit of speed. Because sometimes you don't proc the Snow Cloak buff on her. And you want her to take some natural turns to get her S3 off, right? And then Sieg is just going to be no speed. Attack, HP, HP. Or HP, attack, attack, or whatever it is. Just stack as much HP and attack as possible. You don't need any crit rate. Don't need any crit damage on him. And then for your Lian, it's going to be Frost set as well. Triple HP with the Growth set, or you can also go with the Shield set. Lu Shang is going to be on the Frost set, a little bit of speed as well, because you want him to cast his S3. And you can also run a 2-piece Shield set or Ggez set. I ran Ggez set because I do run him in the Ming Shou team as well, so I don't have to change the relics around. And then Yukine is also going to be on maximum HP. If you have her at R4, you don't really need any speed on her. But if you're not at R4, then you kind of want a little bit of speed just to get the hibernation buff as soon as possible, right? So yeah, let's go into Beatbout. Now for Beatbout, it's going to be way different because instead of running a Yukine team, which you cannot, right? You cannot run him in the Yukine team. You're going to run him in a Go First team instead. So this is not really interchangeable, but you will see his damage. He does a lot of damage with this team. You still want Moriyama to kill off the enemy team, and then you want Daji to have some form of protection, and then he's going to be there for AoE damage to kill off the rest of the enemy team. Shenpin can be interchangeable between Sakura R6 or Feng Shun, but against most teams you're going to be bringing Shenpin just for the additional damage against the rest of the enemy team. So most of the time you're going to be facing off against Momo team. And the other thing that he helps with this team is you give 15% more attack for your Moriyama so that he can one-shot Momo more reliably. When you start the combat or when you cast his S2, you're going to give this Dragon Breath to your allies, which will give your Moriyama 15% extra attack, which will help you sometimes to one-shot Momo, because the condition for you to one-shot Momo is to have higher attack as well. And it also helps your Moriyama to not get debuffed by Momo, because her S1 does counter-attack him and put buff blocker. You don't want to get buff block on your Moriyama, because whenever he S3, he also gets attack buff. But again, this team, it's not really like a high chance of winning. It really depends on Moriyama's AI. Sometimes he can go for the right units. Most of the time, he's gonna fail. So if your Moriyama fails, then the team is gonna fail as well. Oh, we got killed off by Sieg actually, because he kept doing extra damage on my Moriyama and killed him off. Alright, let's go against a Meta Era team. This should not be any problem because we can just kill the entire team off pretty easily and then just leave Meta Era for last. As you can see right here, we do a lot of damage, AoE damage, because when you cast your S3 on Shenpin, that's gonna add a lot of damage for Sieg's debuff. So we're doing like 16,000 per debuff right now, which is insane. Right now, Shenpin's buff is going to Moriyama and Sieg because they both have the highest attack. And against Suizai, with a HP lead, you also want to go with Shenpin as well, just to make sure that you kill off the Zihi. If it fails, I think I'm going to try to run R6 Sakura. But again, this team does not have a 100% win rate against Momo and Suizai teams, because if you get really bad RNG or bad AI with your Moriyama, then you can still lose the fight. So let's see. Yeah, we lost. This is a bad RNG. We did 300,000. Let me try to remove my Shenpin and add in Sakura because we're gonna go first. If they are running speed lead with Chu Yao, then you kind of want to run Shenpin. Okay, this time, oh, we lost again. Yeah, like I said, this team is not consistent. But if you get the right RNG, you should be able to win. Nope, that's 3 in a row. Let me go back to Shenpin. Yeah, there's a lot of difference between his power in Beatbout and Point War, because in Beatbout you cannot run him in the Yukine team, right? So he's not getting a lot of turns. You can't stack the debuff a lot, and when you can't stack the debuff, he just dies, man. Unless you have him at R4. Like I said, if you have him at R4, then the debuff is going to be permanent on all of the enemies. Whenever they take a turn, they're gonna add 1 extra stack on them, because they're gonna proc the Echo Scar damage, right? Whenever you proc the Echo Scar damage, whether it be from your allies attacking or whenever the enemies take a turn, you're gonna add one extra stack. So we got one shot by Suizai. I'm gonna go one more time with this team just to see. Yeah, we got 0% win rate against this guy. Alright, let's try against a Momo team. He's running a speed lead, so we have to kind of run Shenpin in this team to move first. If you run a Sakura in this team and they run a speed lead, then the Chuyao is going to move first, which is going to be very bad for you. But again, you've already seen it when you... even when you go first, you can sometimes still lose. So, yeah. It's not the best in Beatbout. most of the time you want to bring a Shuan Pin just to make sure to kill off the Zihi if it's level 70, but if it's level 60, you can bring a Feng Shun and still lose, by the way. Oh man, you can't get 1 win! Okay, there we go, 1 win. But it's a lot of RNG, like I said. And this fight is going to be very close as well. Because the condition to kill like Momo is for you to one-shot him with his one-shot Momo with his S3 when your Daji brings your Sieg back to life. Because I think my Sieg is gonna die right here. Or if he's not dead, then my Moroyama is gonna kill off that Momo. It helps a lot with a level 70 Moroyama if you do have him at level 70, but mine's only level 60. So most of the time he does not have higher attack than Momo or Suzai. But thanks to the Dragon Breath effect, I was able to get more attack than her, right? He does have a little bit of support for Moriyama because the Dragon Breath does give you extra 15% extra attack, and his debuff also reduces the attack of Momo and Suzai by 3% per stack. Alright, this time against a Momo plus Suzai team. I only have 2 tickets left, and he also has 3 level 70 in the team, while I only have Sieg at level 70, right? He does not have any Lian, and we still lost. Yeah, this guy in Beatbout is so hit or miss, man. He can do well, he does a lot of damage, but he doesn't do anything significant. Like, he's not the win condition for this team. The win condition is having a sane Moroyama. If your Moroyama decides to pop off and kill the right unit, then you're good to go. But if your Moroyama decides to troll, then you're not really gonna do much. He still gets one shot by Suzai, by the way. So at R2 so far, his Beatbout performance is really bad. You want him to go first, but he doesn't really do anything significant because you can't run him in the Yukine team. He does help a little bit for Moriyama to have a higher attack than the enemy Momo, but that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. He helps to clean up the... Can't even win one match. He does 500,000 damage, but he does not... That 500,000 damage is basically pointless. That 500,000 damage is not helping kill that Momo. Because again, in a Momo and Shugyao team, if you can't kill the Momo, it's pointless. It's really pointless. And you cannot get the debuff stack on Momo if you don't have him at R4. And even if you do have him at R4, you can't stack up the debuff to 10 stacks. Right now we have 3 stacks and it's already gone. Because the debuff uptime is very low when you don't have him at R4, right? You cannot stack it infinitely. And you can only get the stacks when Momo counter-attacks your Sieg, which does not happen a lot because he has terrible speed. He has only plus 77 speed. He's not going to take a lot of turns. He's not going to get counter-attacked by Momo. He's not going to get countered by Suzai. So your debuff uptime on the Echo Scar is terrible. Without the Echo Scar, you don't have any sustain on this guy. He does not have any second life. He does not have any damage reduction. He only has this effect that can heal him up. Without this effect, he just dies. So yeah, he barely helps the team. You pretty much just run him to give your Moroyama a little bit more attack so that he can have higher attack than the enemy Momo, and he does not get buff blocked by Momo's S1. So yeah, that's about it for Sieg in Beatbout and Point War. You need him to be at R2 for him to be runnable in PvP, but in Beatbout, it's really all about his R4, because most teams, if not all, that you face is going to be either Chuyao Momo or Chuyao Suzai. Those 2 teams are going to be the most famous Beatbout team, and if you cannot kill the Momo or the Suzai, you're pretty much just going to lose. He himself does not kill Momo or Suzai unless you have him at R4. And as for Point War, again, it's kind of like a cheat code for any unit to just run in the Yukine team, but this is like the best team that you can run him in. He does a lot of AoE damage. He needs a lot of turns to stack up his debuff, but once you get him to stack up his debuff, he does a lot of damage. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna be summoning for his R4. Hopefully I get it. I have 32,000 crystals, and the event is around for 16 more days. Hopefully I get lucky. I can get up to 50, around 50 to maybe 40 PT right now, because I do want to try his R4 in PvE and PvP as well. So yeah, that's about it.